Okay, now the second part is to find the length of a line segment, or to find the distance between 2 points on a line. Now let's think back to Pythagoras' theorem. Remember Pythagoras' theorem where we had a right-angled triangle where the two shorter sides were A and B and our hypotenuse was C, and we had the Pythagoras theorem stated that a squared plus b squared is equal to c squared, where a and b are the two shorter sides and c is the hypotenuse of the longer sides. Now, in this case, let's look back to the midpoint example. Okay, now if we have to go from point A to point B, if we form a right angle triangle, we are actually finding the hypotenuse of the right angle triangle. Can you see that? Okay, so let's go down. So, which brings me to this triangle over here. So we've got the 2 points. That's one point where the coordinates are -3, 2. That's the other point, coordinates of -1, 5. So if we have to find the distance between, and if we form a right angle triangle around that line, then we can say that is A, that is B, and then the hypotenuse is C. So if we use Pythagoras, which is a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Okay, now have a look at a squared, which means it's this distance from that point to that point. What is the distance from that point to that point? If you look at the coordinates, it's at -3 and that one is at -1. The distance is from -3 to -1. How many spaces? 1, 2 spaces. Okay, so that means it's 2 squared plus, I'm just going to write this slightly further up. So A is 2, so 2 squared plus B, so that the distance of B would be from that point, from 2 goes up to that point, 5. It relates to it relates to our y coordinates of the 2 points, 2 to 5. What's the distance from there to there? That's 1, 2, 3. Okay, so that gives us 3 squared, and that'll give you the value for c squared. 2 squared is 4, plus 3 squared is 9, and if you find square root of that, that'll give us c. So therefore, c is 9 plus 4 is 13, square root of 13. Okay, but anytime we get a line, we can't always use Pythagoras. Yes, we can relate it to Pythagoras. Okay, but let's have a look. How do we get this 2 and how do we get this 3? Okay, so this 2 was the difference in our x coordinates. So that means the difference between -1 and -3, sorry. Difference, remember, difference. So what that means is, a difference is, what does the difference mean? Subtracting, exactly. So if we take that one as 0.1 and if we take that one as 0.2, these coordinates would be x1 and y1, and these coordinates would be x2 and y2. So if we're finding the difference between the two, that means it's 1 point take away the other point. And if you find the difference between these 2 points, -3 and -1, we get a value of 2. And what do? We squared it. So we square that. Okay? And then add that to the difference. We find the difference between y2 and y1. It's the same. Remember, be consistent. It won't become y1 take away y2. It'll be y2 take away y1. And you find the square of that. And then to find what our distance is, we actually take square root of that. Whoopsies. Why am I doing that? It doesn't go right up to there, only up to there. So that brings us to the midpoint formula. And not the midpoint formula, the distance formula. And the distance formula is x2, take away x1, square that, plus y2, take away y1, square that. And once you find the square root of that, it gives you the distance of a line segment. Okay, let's do an example. Okay. Find the length of the line segment joining this pair of points. Correct to 2 decimal places. So you can find it correct to 2 decimal places. As we did before, let's label point 1, x1, y1, point 2, x2, y2. Okay, and let's use the formula. The length is equal to x2 minus x1, square that, plus y2 minus y1, square that, and then the square root. So x2 is 0, take away x1 is negative 2, square that, plus y2 is negative 4, take away 0, square that, and then you find the square root, which gives us 0 take away negative 2 is 2, 2 squared is 4, plus negative 4 minus 0 is just negative 4, square that is 16, 4 plus 16 is 20. So let's leave our answer to the exact form. So therefore the length is equal to 20. Alright, I hope that's clear. We'll do some questions in class to practice this.